This is the first in a series of videos looking at two problems in AP Statistics. So let's just start off with an example. And first let's set up the situation for both of these problems. So let's say you're at a college. Let's say you're at a large Midwestern university. And at this college, the average height of students is 68 inches, or let's see, that would be 5'8". And let's say that the standard deviation of height of students at this school is going to be 3 inches. And to make things simpler, let's assume that height is normally distributed. And that may not be the right assumption to make, but for our purposes, for this example, it illustrates nicely what two different problems we're looking at. So remember, what we mean when we talk about a normal distribution is we mean that a couple of things. One is that you have a distribution which is symmetric, and that has a certain shape. It's very likely that most people are close to 68 inches. And we also make an assumption that a certain amount of the distribution will be within a certain distance from the mean. In particular, there's something called the Empirical Rule, and that's something that you want to memorize, and that is often called the 68, 95, 90, 9.5 rule. And that is that 68% of the population will be within one standard deviation, 95% within 2, and 99% within 3. The other thing a normality allows us is it allows us to use standard normal tables that's found in almost all standard statistics books and are in calculators. So let's come back to our original problem. You're at a college, the average height is 68 inches, the standard deviation is 3 inches, and we're assuming height is normally distributed. So we're going to look at two questions here. Question number one is you meet a student at random. And you would like to know, if you choose a student pick a student at random, what's the probability that they are taller than 6 foot 1 inches? Question number two is a similar question. Question number two is you walk into a random class, and let's see, for purposes of this example, let's say the class has 37 students. What's the probability that the average height of the students is greater than 6 foot 1 inches? So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video for a second and think about how these two questions are different. Because this really gets at the heart of a lot of what we're doing in statistics. So at this point, just pause and think about the distinctions of these two questions. Well, what I'm hoping that you see is that just let's not even think that we're in statistics right now. Let's just use our common sense here for a second. And what I'm hoping is that you realize, or it just seems to make sense to you, that this situation, picking a student at random and thinking if they're taller than 6'1", is much more likely than the second one. That is you enter a random class and the average height is greater than 6.1. And this is really at the heart of what we're able to do with statistics, is to understand the difference between these two questions. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to work through the mechanics of the first one, and then we want to work through the mechanics of the second one after that. That will both be done in the following 2 videos.